I'm going live. Hold on. Hey guys. It's Amanda with My Life, My Way. I'm going to do just an update about our ultrasound today and kind of everything that went down. So, just figure out a way for everybody to get on. I know it takes a minute. So, hold up. Hi everybody. Good morning. Good evening. I don't know what time we're at. It's good morning in my land of things. This angle kind of sucks. Hold on. If we can make this any better. It's in my room. I don't usually video in here, so. Do I have anything to put you guys up on? Ooh, maybe that's not gonna work. Hold on. Okay, that's a little bit better. Sorry, guys. This isn't somewhere I usually like video from, so the lighting here sucks. But I wanted to sit down to actually do this one, so. Yeah, so we went and had our what should be 7-week ultrasound today, and they only saw a sac, which basically means that we have most likely a blighted ovum. And a blighted ovum, for those of you guys that don't know or don't understand why there'd be a sac there and nothing else, is that what happens is the egg fertilizes and implants, and the sac starts to grow, and then the baby doesn't actually develop. So that really sucks. It's basically just a black sac. This is actually our second one in a row now. It's been a long time since our last one, but the second one that we lost was also a blighted ovum, and it petered out about 6.5 weeks, and then we miscarried. So that could be where a lot of the bleeding is coming from. We don't know. They didn't see a fetal pull. They didn't see anything else. Technically, she's not allowed to say anything. I didn't see a fetal pull. She let me kind of take a look. She's not supposed to, but she did. And I kind of just caught a glimpse of it. But yeah, it's basically just an empty sac at this point. So they don't want me to do anything. They don't want to like hop on too much, because sometimes 7 weeks is too early, which is why like they could have been miscounted. We could be a couple days later. You never really know. And there's actually a couple stories already popping up about you guys having had that happen to you and it was okay. So our sort of current plan right now is just to wait out 2 more weeks and then go back for another ultrasound next Friday. And then kind of go from there, I guess. It's the plan that the ultrasound clinic wanted us to do. I haven't had my HCG numbers retested in the last week and a half because they were going up just fine by themselves and nobody else needed another number. And then when we started having like that intermittent sort of gushing bleeding, I just kind of stuck around home and didn't really go out a whole lot. So yeah, the problem with it just being like the dates are wrong is that my husband only comes home sometimes. Sorry, by the way, I'm still really stuffed up from the allergies. This is not going to go away. I guess it might now, but my husband works out of town, so there's only like certain windows where he's home. So we weren't actually tracking this time around, but we could be out by as much as like 5 days, which has put us closer to the 6-week mark. But we don't know. We actually went back and looked through his logbooks to see when he was home and when he wasn't. So yeah, so we're gonna wait the 2 weeks. I'll still be on progesterone supplements for those 2 weeks, so I shouldn't technically miscarry anyways, because the progesterone should keep it kind of where it's at. And then after that, I'm going to probably ask for a DNC. And the reason I'd ask for a DNC instead of just coming off the progesterone and letting it miscarry by itself, which probably would, is that we could get genetic testing done on the sac and the little bit of a fetus that might be in there and the genetic cells that are there, because this is our 3rd loss and our 2nd blighted ovum. So a couple years ago when we had our first one, it would have been, what, 2000? Okay, somebody help me out. 2017? We had one that we lost at 11 weeks, which actually died at 8.5 weeks, but we had a miscarriage, so we found out later. And then we got pregnant like the next month, and it was another blighted ovum. So, and we haven't been pregnant in the 2 years in the middle. So it's frustrating. It's awful. Combining infertility with multiple losses now, this puts us into, if this doesn't turn out in the next 2 weeks, and I'm honestly not holding out a whole lot of hope about it, that this puts us into the multiple loss category. So 1 in 6 people statistically will suffer from infertility. 1 in 6 couples anyways. I know it says 1 in 8 for the United States, for those of you guys who are following me out of the US. It actually is 1 in 6 for Canada. And I don't think it's a difference in the numbers. I think it's a difference in the amount of people that are actually able to go get tested. Because in Canada, the testing to find out if you're infertile is covered, but not the treatments once they determine that you're infertile. So yes, there's a medical condition as to why I can't get pregnant. But they don't really care about that. That's kind of where they stop at. They'll do the testing and then that's it for them. So 1 in 6 suffers from infertility. 1 in 4 will suffer from a miscarriage. 1 in 20 of those will suffer from multiple miscarriages. There's just 3 or more consecutive miscarriages between pregnancies. So I think that's actually where we're sitting at, which is the crappiest set of numbers to fall into. I've sort of already fallen apart today. It doesn't help that the pregnancy hormones are still there, like, and I'm still supplemented on progesterone. So if anybody has ever been on them, they're insane anyways. But I came home and I already fell apart. So as much as like I seem strong right now, it's because I've already pretty much cried out as much as I think I'm capable of at this point for the next 5 minutes anyways, and then we'll kind of go from there again and reevaluate. But yeah, so unfortunately the news wasn't good. It wasn't what we were hoping for, and it sucks. And there's really nothing they can do about it. There's nothing they can do to save it. There's nothing they can do to get that baby to grow again. It just happens. So we're going to hold out a little bit of hope for 2 weeks from now. But really my hope at this point is that they're going to let me do a D&C and that they'll let me do genetic testing on this because it's been our 3rd loss in a row and we'd like to get him genetically tested. I'm just referring to it as a him just because it's, I don't know, the English language. The English language is weird. If you don't know, it's just a he. We've done genetic testing between my husband and I because he's actually had a loss prior to us getting together. Like years and years ago, they were, I think, 19 or 20, and him and his girlfriend lost one in an early miscarriage as well. So they let us do the genetic testing between the 2 of us and just like a regular blood draw. A little bit after our 2nd loss. So back in like 2017, and then we never heard anything back, which means that everything turned out normal for the 2 of us. But I'm hoping that genetically testing the fetus will give us some more answers, because if we're going to move forward and do another round of IVF, it'd be good to know what parts aren't working. Because, I mean, there's options between adopting embryos or sperm donations or adopted donor eggs, things like that. There are other options other than just continuously going through these treatments and some amount of heartache. We're on 14 rounds of treatments for just medications and a round of IVF. So we're still hoping for October. Now that we know what's going on and sort of, I mean, at this point, bed rest isn't going to help anything anyways, so I'm up off the bed rest. I'm going to start going back to making bath bombs, making soap like I was doing, as much as my body's willing to let me. Like, I'm going to listen to it because I still have pregnancy feelings. So I still get nauseous and I still feel really great. I'm still sleeping a lot. So I'll still listen to it. It's not like I'm just going to be like, well, I'm back up to my regular activities, but I'm just going to take it easy, but I'll get back to that. For those of you guys that don't know, bath bombs and soap are how we're fundraising to go back to another round of IVF because none of it's covered, so it's expensive. We'll probably go back to Prague. We had an amazing experience in Prague, and I actually got to visit my own family in Germany, which was really nice. They're people that I don't get to see unless I go out there. So yeah, so I don't know. We'll probably go back to Prague. They're fantastic. I had absolutely no issues with Prague Medica. I actually really enjoyed that. Their staff were amazing. They were quick to get back to you. I talked to them last time around. They actually brought it up in the end. I must have brought up something along the lines of like I was running a YouTube channel while I was there in one of my appointments. And when they found out that the first one didn't work and I was talking about going back, right away because we wanted to go this spring and then just didn't have the money for it. They actually offered to let me film and stuff while I was inside, like my appointments and things, which is something you can't do here. So that's kind of exciting. So we might be able to do that, which would be kind of cool. But yeah, I think just doing the genetic testing, I think might like answer some questions we had about like why we can't stay pregnant if we don't have any answers about why we can't get pregnant in the first place. Like, there's realistically speaking no issues. Once I ovulate, that's my only problem. If PCOS, I don't ovulate very well. Definitely not consistently, and sometimes just not at all. I'm really well known for having like anovulatory cycles. Hi, I'm glad you caught me live too. I'm really sorry that it's just not good news today. It just sucks. So yeah, so I have PCOS. I don't ovulate properly. My husband's fine. Everything else is fine. Like, my tubes are open. My lining builds like it's supposed to. Everything else is technically perfect. So if I'm ovulating and we're still not getting pregnant, then why aren't we getting pregnant? And then now this is our third loss in a row. And you just kind of like, and it would be nice to have more answers. I don't know if we'll get any, but the most common reason for blighted ovum is genetic issues. And this is our second back-to-back, technically. I mean, they're 2 years apart, but they're the only two pregnancies we've had between those two, right? So, or we've had 0 pregnancies between the two blighted ovums. So hopefully they'll let us do genetic testing, and we'll figure out what's going on, and we'll figure out what our path is. Turner syndrome also sucks. Turner syndrome, Shanna, remind me if I'm wrong. I think it's when you have 3 X chromosomes, isn't it? Is that the one? I think it's Klinefelter's in men where they have 2 X and a Y, and it often results in infertility on both sides. I think you'd have to remind me if I was wrong. Oh, you're missing one. Okay, I knew it was something in there. There's something about an X chromosome. There's one too where women end up with 3 X chromosomes, or the guys end up with 2 X and 1 Y. And it can also cause infertility. That's been ruled out. Like, we did initial genetic testing 2 years ago between my husband and I, and genetically we're okay individually. So that's why I kind of want to test the fetus and see what's going on when you combine A plus B to get C that keeps dropping. So, but there is no family history of this. My mom's had an ectopic, but on that she had no problems getting pregnant. She had no problems staying pregnant. Same thing goes with my biological dad. He only ever had me, but he didn't want any children past that, so I think he sort of had that dealt with. Him and my stepmom did not want children, and she was 7 years older than he was when they got married. So she didn't want anything more than just me. So there's no that was work phoning me. Sorry, it interrupted the live video. I'm not going to work today. My husband's mom had an issue with incompetent cervix, which affects you as you get into like later pregnancy, usually in the 2nd and 3rd trimester. And that the cervix kind of weakens, dilates, and then you literally just, the baby just drops, and then that's it. And she had that happen twice. And because my mother-in-law is extremely intelligent, she actually did her own research, figured out what was wrong, because back then it just wasn't a thing. My husband's 34 years old, and his older brother is 2 years older than us, so he's 36. So back then the research just wasn't there for that, and she actually demanded that they stitch her cervix shut, which is the treatment that's done up to this day. It sounds really gross, because it is, but that's still what they do, to literally hold it in place, and then they tell you to kind of take it easy once you get up past that stage. And then she carried 3 babies to full term, and no other issues past that, I don't think. So, but yeah, and none of our siblings have kids, so, or try or want to, so it's kind of frustrating. My brother has a child, but he's technically not related blood-wise. He's my half-sister's half-brother, if that makes sense. He's actually my stepbrother. And I guess my husband's younger brother also has a child. And they went for quite a while trying, but they have a healthy baby without any other issues, who's almost 2. Oh my God, I can't believe he's almost 2. It's been a long time. But yeah, so Chelsea, by the way, I know you were watching me. I saw your name come up earlier. I'm totally coming to visit him, by the way. But yeah, it's frustrating. There's no, oh, I can't breathe. But there's no other answers right now. And I think that's the frustrating part for me, is that I like to have the answers. I like to be able to look into something and figure out what's going on and then figure out a way to deal with it. And that's kind of my go-to, is I'm also a fix-it person. And at this point we have nothing left to fix. So it sucks. In case you missed what happened earlier, you just kind of caught on that it's been not good news. There's a sac that's there. I kind of got a glimpse of it, but there's nothing in the sac. So it looks like it was a blighted ovum. So just an egg that fertilized, and then the baby didn't thrive, but the sac is still there. So I still have all the symptoms of being pregnant without actually being pregnant, which is super frustrating. They're going to make me wait 2 weeks and go back and do another scan in another 2 weeks. But I don't think that's the way that's going to go down. So I'm going to ask for a D&C when this is over. If that ends up being the way this goes. And we'll see if we can genetically test at that point. So that sucks. Does anybody have any like questions or comments or concerns? You guys have been pretty quiet for a while. You didn't show anything until 8.5 weeks, eh? I'm kind of hoping that's what's going on. Like, we should be 7 weeks today, but like I told you guys when I did the positive pregnancy test that I don't know exactly how far along we are. We just kind of like did the math backwards as to when my husband would be home, and that was about it. They have not said 100% anything. Basically, the tech just said that they want to come back in 2 weeks because they didn't see what they would have wanted to see going on there. And my doctor won't get the report till Monday, so she can't call me back until then. Yeah, I'm going to go redo blood work today. I haven't done an HCG in a while now. Because of all the bleeding and stuff, I just kind of like took it easy and I didn't really leave the house for anything, except for milk once. So, I'm kind of just going to go back and do that. I got to vote today too. It's the Alberta provincial election today, which sucks because there's nobody good to vote for this year. It's awful. It's Canada too, so it's not even like just 2 parties you got to pick the worst from. There's like 6 and they all suck. They all suck. It's the worst, least of the evils. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to get back to making bath bombs, making soap. If you guys would like to help support that, I do mail internationally. I can accept money over, hold on. Okay. That's kind of cool. I have a blighted ovum, I think. There was a sac, but there wasn't anything in it yet. They're going to have me come back in 2 weeks and try again, but I don't think it's going to be great news. I think I'm just prepping my body for that. I think it's easier for me personally if I prep for what's maybe going to happen rather than be like super hopeful and then be destroyed when it doesn't work out. I'm terrible like that. If you guys have had a lot of negative pregnancy tests in your lifetime, you're probably the same way too. You just sort of go into the pregnancy test just assuming it's going to be negative. Just because if you think it's going to be positive, it's just that much worse. But yeah, so I got to go back, like I said, make bath bombs and soap and that kind of stuff. I mail internationally. I take payments over PayPal. You can order them over my Facebook page. It's Bath Bombs for Babies on Facebook. I have a spray line that I haven't even released because by the time I got them made, I ended up getting sick. And then we had some bleeding and stuff and the pregnancy, and I didn't want to like sell a saying, hey, support our next round of IVF, thinking like I'm pregnant, and that was kind of a dick move to do. So I'm gonna go back and just start making them, if anything, just to keep me busy. It doesn't keep me like moving a whole lot. It keeps my hands busy, my mind busy. Right? I'm gonna try making soap one more time. I tried cold process soap for the first time and it failed. It's sort of like semi-set and then didn't set all the way, and it was like super squishy. It was like Play-Doh soap. It was really bizarre. Really bizarre. If you used it, it would soap. But I'm not going to sell that to anybody, so I'm going to try remaking it. I haven't had any bleeding in the last couple of days. I'm still on progesterone supplements, which may be why we haven't lost it yet. Because it may have just miscarried naturally on its own like my last one did. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the dates being wrong though, because my husband only comes out for so long. The most we can be out by is like 6 days. Um, and if we did some like math and stuff because we thought we were 7.5 weeks right now. We did some math. We think maybe we're only 7 weeks exactly today, although we could be out by more than like a couple of days past that. What Play-Doh soap? It was definitely not really good soap. I wouldn't sell that to you. But thank you very much, guys. There's a whole bunch of like really positive stuff. Yes, I'm gonna keep taking the progesterone. I gotta wait till the 2 weeks just to be sure, see what they say. Oh, chemo is just such a crapshoot, isn't it? Like, it's not bad enough you had cancer and now it results in infertility. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I'll wait the 2 weeks. We will see what's going on. I'm not just gonna like give up now and just let it go. If anything, holding it for 2 weeks and making it kind of sit around, even if it is just a blighted ovum, will allow me to do the D&C, which will allow me to do the genetic testing. If I lose it naturally, there's nothing there that they can go test, right? So I do have PCOS. I've never had OHSS before, which is nice. With the IVF and stuff, Prog was really good about like keeping the drugs to as little as they could while still getting the results that they wanted. So we never suffered with anything like that. And Lisa, I'm getting like Facebook messages at the same time as I'm getting messages over here. Because there's lots of friends of mine that are also watching. I can see you. I just can't say anything fast enough. I'll get back to you guys in a minute, but yeah, if you guys want to follow me around on Instagram, if you're not already there, getting _prognant is my Instagram, PRAGUENANT. I always have to think about how to spell that. And Bath Bombs for Babies is also on Instagram. No underscores, no dashes or anything. So yeah, so I guess we'll go back and kind of hope for the next 2 weeks, but I'm just gonna keep my hands and my mind busy and we'll go from there. It wasn't great, Kathy. They just saw a sac. There was nothing in it. So I could be too early. We're gonna go back in 2 weeks, try again. It's really all I can do at this point. But actually really all I can do at this point is go get my blood drawn and go vote and keep myself busy for a few weeks. So I don't know. Thanks guys for following me. Thanks for being supportive. It's nice.